Yes, my dear friends, welcome back to the channel. Very good day to you guys all out there, wherever you are on the globe, on the continent of Africa, in Europe, in America, Canada, Australia, or right here in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful Thursday here in Southeast Asia. Well, a lot is happening right now. The transfer window is running so fast and clubs are putting things together. They want to get things done before time run out on them. Ladies and gentlemen, the latest we have right now, Renato Viega to Villarreal. Here we go. Yes, Renato Viega to Villarreal. Chelsea has released Viega to undergo medicals with Villarreal. We understand the Premier League is not fit for the young chap. The young chap is leaving the Premier League for £25 million. £25 million. Chelsea signed him at 12 million, so we made double profit. I mean, we made 100% profit on a player. Chelsea signed him £12 million a season ago, and he played for Chelsea like half a season, and then he was loaned out. He played half a season and was loaned out. So in actual fact, Chelsea even made more than more than 100%, yes, on Renato Viega. Exclusive, Renato Viega will sign a 7-year contract with Villarreal until 2032. Chelsea have also secured 40% sell-on clause. Sell-on clause. The total package is worth about 30 million, including bonuses. Yes, around 30 million euros. Total package is around there. But you see, agreement between Villarreal and Chelsea is done with a medical schedule for today. Ladies and gentlemen, what this means is that £25 million, which is about 30 million euros. Then Chelsea also has a sell-on clause in case tomorrow the player, is hitting it hard with Villarreal, and let's say Real Madrid or another club want to buy him, the sell-on clause, Chelsea hold 40%. How is Chelsea managing to negotiate all these deals? You bought a player for 12 million, you sold him at 25 million, and you are still putting 40% sell-on clause. I don't know how these guys are managing this. Are they using juju? What is there any spiritual? I mean, where did they pass? Who is their spiritual father? How are they negotiating all these deals that the other clubs are not being smart or what? I don't get it. 40% sell-on clause. My goodness. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, a day before yesterday we heard Anonymous Club tried to lure Simeon away from Chelsea. Yes, we understand that club wasn't Arsenal, wasn't Manchester United, wasn't Liverpool. But finally, last night, we got to know the club. And that club is in a very huge danger right now. And it's a London club. And that club is in problem right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Tottenham tried to convince Simeon. But the player says, no. Where I want to be is Chelsea. I'm not coming to South London. I'm going to North London. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Tottenham is that club that tried. But the player refused to join them. And to our own surprise, am I like a surprise? Yes, because I'm surprised in the first place. Eze Berechi to Tottenham. I spoke about it on this platform, and I'm like, what was Chelsea doing that Tottenham was able to secure this guy, was able to lure this guy? This is the kind of players we need. Ebereze is the kind of players we need here on this channel. I mean, we want to talk about here as a Chelsea player. So why then Chelsea allowed Tottenham to snatch? Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak, as of the last 12 hours, 24 hours, we understand Arsenal has taken over the deal. Yes. Arsenal has successfully snatched Eberechi Eze from Tottenham. Now the player is set to undergo medicals with Arsenal. But the question is, what is wrong? How? Tottenham, they are almost done with they've completed a deal, the agreement with Crystal Palace. Agreement is in place with the clubs. agreement in place with the player, how come that Arsenal can just come in and say, Eze? And ladies and gentlemen, we understand. Crystal Palace are excited that Arsenal are coming in for the player because their joy is that the player will have opportunity to play in the Champions League. Their joy, they want to see Eze playing in the Champions League. I don't know what benefit they will get when the player is in the Champions League. But according to the statement, Crystal Palace are excited to let the player go to Arsenal instead of Tottenham because the player will have the opportunity to play in the Champions League. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, Arsenal are in the Champions League. Tottenham are not in the Champions League. And the player wishes to play in the Champions League. So Crystal Palace are happy to see their former player going to Arsenal to play in the Champions League. The deal is 60 million pounds. And the same amount Tottenham offered. Crystal Palace accepted it. I'm not too sure why the same amount. That means that they are just happy to let the player go to Arsenal instead. Or the player really want to be in Arsenal, not Tottenham. Whatever it is, we all will know. If it comes to trophies, in recent years, at least, Tottenham has even won a trophy. Arsenal has won 0, nothing. So they are just, the name Arsenal alone, they are just leveraging on the fact that, yeah, this is Arsenal. And their luck, Arsenal's luck is that Chelsea is not in the race. If Chelsea were to be in the race, Arsenal wouldn't have gotten it. It is a fact. Arsenal fans, if Chelsea won that play, Eberechi Eze today, the player will still switch to Chelsea. I'm the one telling you this. Clubs get level. Everybody gets their own level. Everybody has level. When Chelsea steps in, no other club in London. We are the landlords of London. Chelsea are the landlords of London. Ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, it is what it is. Bournemouth have started club-to-club talks with Chelsea for Axel Disasi. Current talks over loan plus option to buy. Ladies and gentlemen, the player was on loan last season and now they want to add it option to buy. Ladies and gentlemen, Axel Disasi to Bournemouth. Yeah, I think that will be a good deal. I have a lot to talk about, so let me rush quickly and see how much I can cover this on my hand. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, Chelsea have less than 2 weeks. Chelsea have less than 2 weeks to prove to UEFA that they have balanced their books enough to be permitted to add their abundance of summer signings to Enzo Maresca's Champions League squad for this season. Right now, as we speak, Chelsea cannot sign. The European positions, number of players you can add up. Chelsea have to sell some of the players that were registered last season for Europe, for any European competition. Chelsea must sell some of those players in order to bring in new players like Delap, new players like Joao Pedro, like Gittins, before Chelsea can add those players for our Champions League list, which we have up to 2nd of September, if my memory serves me right. Yes. To balance our books, our sales must be much more than than how much we are buying. Then we can register the new players in addition to, that is UEFA rules. So Chelsea have the next 2 weeks to be able to balance the books before we can register new players for the Champions League. And it is the reason why Chelsea are really pushing hard to sell players like Christopher Nkunku that played part of the Conference League last season. Ladies and gentlemen. So before that can be done, because the reason is that Chelsea struck a deal with UEFA instead of paying some penalties, and yet we're going to be paying penalties. But it would have been more serious. I don't know if I have it here. It would have been more serious if we had not struck that deal with Chelsea. With UEFA. If we had not struck that deal, it would have been more serious. But as things stands right now, Chelsea are in a better position to get that done. Yeah. Chelsea's complex agreement to UEFA included a record fine of 26.8 million, rising to 78.5. Yes. So right now the deal is 26.8 million that we need to pay to UEFA. But the key sporting sanction warn how the club may not register any new player on List A. List A is players that are expected to play in Europe, like Champions League, to UEFA club competitions unless the List A transfer balance is positive. Unless the List A transfer balance is positive. So it means that we have to sell players that we registered last season to balance the books there. Then only we can register new players. Though we are still paying a penalty of 26.8 million. Ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. It is what it is. Now, let me just run up quickly on this note. Julio and Ensico will join Bluco Group spending this season at Strasbourg. Then joining Chelsea. Here we go. You see, this deal is a bit complicated. Who is Julio and Ensico? It's from Brighton. Brighton young star. Yes, Brighton, another prospect we are buying from Brighton. I took my time this morning here and I tried to watch his video. He's a very good midfielder and sometimes he can operate from the left wing. He's short, long distance shot in his foot. Ladies and gentlemen, now Chelsea signed a young man for 20 million package from Brighton with add-ons included. Medical is expected today. After the medical, the player will be loaned to Strasbourg. The player will go to Strasbourg then for this season. I'm just wondering how a player will agree on terms to be sent to Brighton, on terms to be taken from Brighton and sent to Strasbourg. I'm just wondering how Chelsea managed to be convincing all these players. Because I would have wished the player stays with Brighton rather, we loan it back to them. Or the player would have insisted, no, since I'm not going to be in the Premier, I want to develop in the Premier League. But they are taking him from Brighton, sending him to Strasbourg in France. A year after then, he returns to Chelsea. Ladies and gentlemen, he's one of those guys that definitely Chelsea are going to be making profit on in the near future as well. I know. So, Ensico to Chelsea, to Bluco, that is the word, to Bluco. And I don't know, this deal, I need to understand it carefully. I will come back and explain it later. Ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. Now, to some fun news. Ronaldo fans. Yeah, Ronaldo finally tied a knot. Finally, they can call themselves husband and wife. No more partners. Ronaldo, yes, right now, finally tied a knot with his long-standing, partner. Georgina. Ladies and gentlemen, and Ronaldo undisclosed prenup agreement with Georgina in this marriage as they had their wedding. Ronaldo is to be giving Georgina every monthly allowance, $121,000. $121,000. 5.6 million real estate. But they are living in the same apartment. They are living together. In the same mansion. Lifetime pension, $110,000 a month. Child support. They are all living together and the child is being taken. Ronaldo is the one buying the provision, everything in the house. Child support, $500K a month. Or maybe she's the one going to the market every day to buy the groceries. Lifestyle maintenance, $2 million a year. Lifestyle maintenance. 2 luxury cars. Paid luxury flights. But Ronaldo have private jets. I think about 2 or 3. 2 yearly vacations. They go together for vacations and Ronaldo is still to board the cost. Ronaldo pays $50 million in alimony after breakup. So in case there's any breakup, alimony, $50 million as compensation first of all. Well, in all this, my question is, what exactly does Georgina offer Ronaldo? Marriage is indeed a loss to a man. It's arguable, right? Well, let me just say that, you see, what a wife can give, emotional support, men that are busy, very busy, men, they need that emotional support. Just the father will close, or when they come back home, their wife is at home, gives them emotional support. It encourages them, it pushes them on. A lot of things, like a man wake up, going to the market, doing the, getting the groceries, going to the kitchen, and washing the things, taking care of the kids, those things. Even to take care of the kids alone. Remember, Ronaldo had 5 children. Yeah, 5. Even I think he has 2 or 3 before coming to Georgina. Okay, if you say 1, I'm not too sure. But Georgina has taken all, she's the one taking care of all the children. So it is what it is. Georgina is co-parenting all 5 Ronaldo's children, including his older kid, older kids from previous relationships. No, it's not just one. Older kids. That's a full-time job. Honestly, that is a full-time job anyway, to be taking care of 5 kids. Ronaldo himself said, "She was the woman of my life. She has her own Netflix show, modeling career, and social media presence. She's not just sitting around. She's providing child care, emotional support, stability, and companionship." Every man at this age that we are, we need this. We need all this. Emotional support, stability, and companionship. Somebody you can talk to, you can share ideas with, you can laugh with. It's very important. Otherwise, your life will be miserable. Ladies and gentlemen. Now, do you know Kohama's bid to trademark his Kohama has hit a rock? Yes, why? Kohama's has been challenged by posh French vineyard Chateau Palmer. Chateau Palmer is a French wine production line. Or Chateau, depending if you're a French, I don't know how they pronounce it, either Chateau or Chateau, whatever it is. Yes, they produce wine, and the wine is called, Chateau Palmer. Ladies and gentlemen, there it is on your screen. So, in order for Kohama to, I don't know, they will have to drag, because this is Kohama, and they are both CC. They are both CC. This is Chateau or Chateau or Chateau, whatever you want to call it, Palmer. And then Kohama is also C. Ladies and gentlemen, so right now, it is an issue on the table that they will have to discuss. Maybe the lawyers of both companies, Kohama's, group, they will have to meet with this wine company to digest that issue. Ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, quickly. This young man on your screen, and I understand she's the youngest club owner, youngest football owner. And I wonder how many neutrals, how many of you guys know Premier League club Sunderland is owned by this young man on your screen. 27-year-old. And he was 23 when he bought the club in League One. It always shocks people when they hear it. He was 23 when he bought the club. Now he's 27. Ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm being told that the father had a share in, or the father was a CEO of Adidas. His father was the CEO of Adidas. Yeah. Though his father is dead, his fortune comes from family. His dad is, also inherited. The dad also inherited from somewhere. The family lineage, ladies and gentlemen. Now, born December 18, 1997. December 18th, 1997. 18 December sounded familiar with someone, right? Is it? 1997. Yeah. And he's a Swiss French businessman. He's a member of the French Louis Dreyfus family. His parents being former successive owners of French football club, Olympique de Marseille. Okay, so they've been to football for long. No wonder. No longer. Ladies and gentlemen, on 18 February 2021, Louis Dreyfus became the minority shareholder and chairman of Premier League football club Sunderland, then in EFL League One. In June 2022, after their promotion to the from the EFL Championship, he became the majority shareholder. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, fortunes. Well, I hope to leave my own legacy as well for my children and my children's children. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, let me leave you guys here. I'll be back with more exclusives in the coming hours. Shalom and peace.